In this 14th of a series on decoding your dreams, I wanted to say something about dreams and imagination, because dreaming is a form of an activity of imagination, and imagination's more than just an add-on to personality or just a skill that we sometimes use. Although practice does improve our ability to imagine, but imagination is more like a layer of being or a layer of the psyche that makes everything about us possible. And possibility is something that imagination is very concerned with. So I opened this series by mentioning one of my own dreams about dragons and then flying as a dragon. And I think that's a good metaphor for where imagination can take us. Everything important we ever build or plan or create starts with a fantasy. It starts somewhere in imagination. And so dreams have a lot to do with our creative capacities. And the more we work with dreams, I think the more creative we become. And dreams also help us deepen into our conversation with not only each other and ourselves, but also with the world itself and with all the things and beings in the world that aren't human. So we sometimes refer to that as rejoining the great conversation. And tuning into our dreams can help us do that. Also, there's a possibility I want to raise that exists in many philosophies outside the West, and there's actually a strain of it in the West as well. And it's the idea that perhaps dreaming isn't just something that the brain does now and then when it's in REM sleep, but that dreaming is more fundamental than that, and that perhaps everything dreams. Perhaps everything is dreaming all the time, and our own night dreams are one small but significant expression of the dreaming of the earth, of the dreaming of everything. Something to wonder into, maybe. Not something to, demonstrate or prove in a lab or to measure, but maybe one of those ideas that helps us imaginatively reconnect with the world, as well as with our own depths. Also, imagination in many traditions, and my second PhD took a look at this in my dissertation. It's called Restoring Our Lore. Imagination in many traditions is a layer of being, a place, a realm. It has its own reality, its own rules. The characters that pop up in dreams often insist on their own points of view, which when we respect that, we get farther when we engage them. In fact, a couple of times when Jung was doing active imagination, he tried to reduce the character he was talking to down to a psychological formula, and they always protest when he does that. One character, who I'm convinced is the wisdom goddess Sophia, says to Jung, "Do you know who I am?" So when we greet these strange figures with hospitality, then we go further with them. They have more to bless us with, more to teach us than if we treat them as just lesser than what they really are. So I think that's worth bearing in mind as we finish up this video series. Also, dreaming, in addition to the practical pieces that I mentioned, I think it makes possible a life of re-enchantment. Because from the dream's perspective, we don't live in a world of dead things, but of animated presences that we continually engage with and converse with. So there's a little slogan I came up with some years ago when I present that I think encapsulate this. Everything converses. And it's up to us whether we want to dream ourselves into that conversation or not. Happy flying.